All right, dog. We're live.
Uh-oh.
No more shit talking. All right, what's up, guys? We're
Oops.
gonna start doing this shit every. Sorry, we're gonna start to do this podcast every week. We need your help figuring out a name. If you guys don't know who Justin is, he is one of the best photographers like in the NPC right now. He's also a great bodybuilding coach, lifestyle guest too, and he's a competitor himself. And we agree on a bunch of things, and I think we can bring some value to the viewers, share our opinions. We keep it pretty raw, so if something hurt your feelings, it's meant to hurt your feelings. So there will be no sugarcoating happening in the podcast. What's up, dog?
If the shoe fits, wear it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So give people a rundown where you're from, or what you're about.
Oh boy, talking about myself, not my strong suit. You already told everybody my name. 28, just turned 28 actually today. So this is, I guess, a birthday gift to myself. I get to talk to you for like the next hour.
Golden birthday celebration. Is that what we party?
I did 8.5 years in the Army, got out, tried my hand at something else. That didn't work out. So I've always been into helping other people achieve their fitness goals. I mean, I started high school at like 92 pounds, graduated at 120, and I'm sitting at like 204 right now. So
you said 120?
Yeah, I graduated high school at 120 pounds.
Holy shit, dude. I had no idea.
It's my 10-year reunion was the same weekend as Excalibur, actually. So I was working instead of going to my reunion, but I'm up about 85 pounds-ish since 2012.
I was 120 when I was like 7 years old because I was so fat.
Everybody else says the same shit. They're like, huh, I was 120 pounds and I was like 9 years old. I'm like, okay, thanks, I guess.
Yeah. I was fat, though. Like, I was a fat kid.
Oh, no. I used to get picked on all the time because I was so skinny. Like, always picked last for sports unless it was something that, like, they needed somebody fast for. I was fast, but getting picked for football at all was like,
Yeah. Do you play football?
No. I think I played for like a year in middle school, and I just got beat to shit because everybody else was twice my size. They're like, why don't you just go join the fucking cheerleading team, bro? I'm like, okay.
Hey, you would have been a great flyer.
Right?
Yeah.
Shit, at that point, all probably 92 pounds of me.
Oh God, dude, that's amazing. All right, yeah. You're in Savannah. Is that home?
Well, I'm just outside of Savannah, 40 minutes west of Savannah, so pretty close.
Okay, I used to be there all the time when I lived in Bluffton. I will bounce at some of the clubs in there. So it was Savannah. It's a fun town for sure.
Oh yeah, if you're into the partying.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I 5 years ago, I loved Savannah. Now I can't.
Yeah,
I can't wait to move. So.
Yeah, where are you moving to?
Don't know yet. We're thinking Charleston, maybe. That's like top of the list right now. So we'll see. We'll see what the rest of this year brings. I still have to finish getting this place ready to sell. Which I don't want to say I regret buying a house here now, but it definitely makes moving a lot harder.
Yeah, I mean, I'm moving right now, but if you bought a house 3 years ago, you're on the offside.
Oh yeah, I think I paid like $249 for this place like 5 years ago, and like the Zillow thing says like $320. So I mean, I'm not.
It's an investment for sure. So, all right. So we need to come up with a name for this thing, and we're gonna do it in like every week. And to see if we're gonna bring people on. I posted the question box, and probably like 3 or 4 people say, "Hey, can I come on?" So I want to do this first on our own to see how it goes.
Okay.
And then we'll bring some people on and see what they bring to the table. If they don't bring more than I do, they're not coming on. Hey,
if you don't bring value, no,
keep your mouth shut.
Yeah,
I I like to keep it that way.
It's not
So
bullshit hour.
yeah, I think Brent will come on, and he's got some good stories.
You said Brent?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Brent
Yeah.
is like a storybook.
Yeah.
So
He said one of the times he stayed at my house, I don't know, we talked for I don't know how many hours. And he actually brought me deer meat.
ooh, I haven't had that in a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't get Brent started after
Yeah. we'll just talk for hours. He's a cool dude.
Yeah.
So what are let's just talk about coaching for a minute. How long have you been coaching?
Officially, it's been about a year. So
Okay.
something that I've done in the past, not under like a registered business. I wasn't an LLC. I didn't have a logo or a name. I was just kind of writing programs for people that I knew, friends of mine, family members, stuff like that. More so the lifestyle client type thing. And then when I started competing is when I really started taking a very deep dive into I don't want to say the darker side of the sport, but getting into the performance enhancing drugs and the extreme dieting for prep and bodybuilding. So that has been going on for about a year officially.
That's good. And I know you have, for those listening, you're coaching. I think some pros. Really good. You had a guy doing men's league last week. He looked fantastic. So yeah, I'm excited to see what you can do over the years to come, because you've shown to know what you're doing, and your people look great. So
yeah, Austin did very well for his first show in Savannah last weekend. His physique's there. We just had a very short timeline, so his posing, that boy was just way too proud to be on stage looking the way he did.
Yeah.
So for those who know physique posing, you don't want to stand super tall and proud and chest puffed out. You want to bring everything in and keep it nice and compact and flexed. And that boy was just up there like, oh, yes,
yeah,
did it. So easily the best physique that was on stage that day as far as a complete package. But we've got some posing work to do. We only had like 8 weeks together. So we're going to put him back in the Night of Champions show in Nashville in a couple weeks with more time with posing. A little bit better conditioning. We're hoping that show's a little bit bigger, a little bit more competitive. So
that is always a great show. That show on the Flex Looks Classic and Marcus Sport are always I had some people there a couple years ago. And it's always very well ran. And it's the athletes get their money's worth,
Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed a lot as of lately. I won't say any names, but some shows are trending downwards as of recently.
Yeah, that's because the mosquitoes are eating me alive when I'm sitting in this little bar. I'm in New Jersey to visit my in-laws. There we go. This is better. Yeah. Right now, like you're like coaching, mostly bodybuilding competitors, because it's very fun to have athletes that they just follow the plan, and they really want to get their best package. They want to look their best. And right now, my focus is on more like the clinical side of things. Just working with hormones and like regular people who are just extremely overweight, rather than the competitors. But I still have a few, and man, it just feels good to just get people shredded and know that that athlete is the best. It just feels good.
I mean, yeah, there's part of it kind of comes from, again, like my past 8.5 years in the Army. 5 of that I spent in the special operations community. So everything that I did was pretty, I don't want to say like hardcore, but I don't know a better word to use for it. I used to crew MH-47s. I was a glorified flight attendant with a giant gun. I don't do like sissy things.
Yeah.
So for me personally, can I coach your everyday lifestyle client? Of course I can. However, my mentality is not that of tiptoeing around, walking on eggshells, coddling people, and be like, "Oh, it's okay. You know, we only lost 1 pound this week." That's just not my mentality. Can I do it? Yeah. But is that something that I enjoy doing?
Yeah.
Not as much as I enjoy the competitive aspect of people who really want to do something tremendous and spectacular and really change their body and say, "Hey, I want to be 198 pounds inside out, peeled, shredded on stage, dry as shit, maxing out my weight class or my height class for classic." I really want to push the envelope and make something super special. Now, don't get me wrong, going from 300 pounds to 120 pounds is something super special. I'm not trying to take that away from anybody that's done any sort of major transformation like that. That is very special. But for me, it's almost kind of like that iron sharpens iron type of saying where like, I want to push really hard, obviously with health in mind. So I want my people to be able to push really hard. Just a lot of my previous experiences with lifestyle clients, they're the ones that you say you do weekly check-ins and you hear from them once a month and nothing's changed. So, and it could be just because I don't have that big lifestyle client name. Like, I don't want to say that you're a big lifestyle client name, but if you look at a lot of your transformations, they do seem to be a lot of lifestyle transformation type things. Yep. So the bigger you brand yourself that way, the more attention you'll bring for that specific demographic. I don't push that super hard.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing right now also, it's like you'll see the same thing in bodybuilding. You'll have people saying that they want to compete, and they're like, "Whoa, man, I haven't had carbs in 2 weeks." It's like, fuck off. Like, come on, you got to push, you got to suffer. So, it comes down to the athlete. Whether it's lifestyle people, how we call it, or a competitor, they gotta want it. Because I know for a fact that when somebody signs up with you or with me, we're giving our 200%, and we only expect 100% back from them. And we most of the time want it more than they do. And it's just the mentality of a coach who just wants to be more successful, and it's just a fun stuff, and I just love doing it. And I know that you're growing very rapidly in your business, and everyone that I see that you post is looking better than the previous person. So it's really cool to see what you're doing, man.
Well, it's one of them things, like you gotta build your brand and protect your image, right? So if you had 100 lifestyle people come to you and they were all 300 pounds, and out of that 100 that came to you, 50 of them lost 5 pounds, and then 50 of them lost 200 pounds or 150 pounds, who's better? I don't want to say for advertisement, but like whose results speak more about you? Because I know you're going to give each one of those people the same amount of attention, the same amount of detail, and not necessarily the same program, but the same effort into their program. Yeah. The rest is on them. I can give you all of the tips, tricks, tools, everything that you need for success. But if you don't use them, you're not going to be successful anyway.
That's a fact.
I don't want to say I'm super selective with who I work with. I'll give everybody a chance. But if I notice that week after week, you're giving me 20, 30, 40, 50%, no, you better consistently give me at least 80%. Where nobody's at 100% all the time. You hear it in the industry all the time, like, oh, Olympia stage or die. You got to be so dedicated. This is the only thing you think about. Not feasible for 95% of people. Nobody's really got that mentality.
That's a fact. And you'll see that, as you keep growing your business, this is, people use it as a marketing strategy. Say, hey, only 2 spots available. It's like, you're lying. You will take 5 people if they message you. Come on. Like only, or what the opening spots for online coaching, limited spots available. It's like, wake up. That's all. For example, I've been coaching now for 10 years in the same space. When I say I can take 2 people, it's because I'm building programs for the next 3 weeks, and someone fell off the program, or I told someone, hey, I can't work with you anymore because you're not doing this. Like, then I can take on somebody else. Yeah. And I don't say I got 3 spots available because I have I'll have people who have reached that in the past, and I used to, hey, you're on next. But it's as you keep growing your business, you will see that you will have, uh, you will tell people it's like, I can really work with you. I'll refer you to somebody else. Um,
Oh,
just
I've
because,
already had it a couple times.
yeah. So yeah,
There's, and I mean, you get it too. You get the people, especially the competitors. I had one dude locally, actually. I ran into him at the gym here. Came up to me and we started, chit chatting back and forth, exchanging information. Started his program, paid for the first half. 2.5 weeks into it, he's like, "Yeah, this bodybuilding thing really ain't for me. I didn't think it was like this." And I'm like, "All right, I told you at the beginning what you were getting into.
yeah,
If you want somebody as a coach who's just going to let you be mediocre, there are people out there like that. Don't get me wrong.
absolutely, for
But
sure.
again, I'm building a name and a brand and an image that I'm going to uphold. And if you are not going to represent me the way I want you to, it's not happening."
Yeah, and that's exactly how I feel. So it all comes down to how much effort are you putting into this? Is it the same amount of effort that I'm putting into it? And if so, then we're gonna be successful. If not, something is not going to click, and we're going to fall off. So that's just a general idea of what people can expect when you're working with a coach who actually cares. And you'll get people that come from somebody else that were not happy with the service that was provided, or some people might leave your program and say and go to somebody else and not be happy with the service that you provide, because you're not everybody's gonna love you. Not everybody's gonna love me. There is someone that there are people that have left my program saying that I wasn't good enough, and there are people that come to my program, it's like, you're the best thing ever. And that's just any business. So
Different strokes for different folks.
yeah,
Not every coach is for every person. I have my way of doing things. You have your way of doing things. My coach, Cameron Cheek, has his way of doing things. Chris Fine's got his way. Matt Jansen's got his way. Justin Mahaley. All these people have their different ways of doing things. Somebody may go to all these other large name coaches first. They might go to Mahaley. They might go to Jansen. They might go to Cameron. They might go to Blue Taylor. They might go to all these different people, and they're just not going to have that click.
Yeah.
But they might come to me and they'll be like, "Oh, this is perfect."
yep, exactly.
Not every coach is for every person, and a lot of people don't seem to understand that. I actually had a girl reach out to me, probably 2 weeks ago, and she's like, "Yeah, I thought about hiring you, but I've had 3 really shitty coaches back to back to back, and my body's just burnt out, and this, that, and the other." And I'm like, next time, do a little bit of research before hiring somebody that's going to make you eat 600 calories a day and do 2 hours of cardio leading into a show. You're going to be burnt out after that.
Yeah. It's the reality of the sport. Some people do it for money. People do it for the long-term success that you might see when you actually care about your client. So I actually wanted to touch into that because you brought up his name. Dude, your coach. I've actually been we became friends on Facebook before he blew up. And super cool guy, and his people are just always in shape. And as he's how old is he? 27, 28?
No, he's like 23.
23, really? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm 25.
Well, fuck, I'm the grandpa, I guess.
Yeah, I'm 25, and I know we are around the same age.
Yeah.
How has your experience with him been? Because you have made insane progress over the past year, or not even year, I think.
So I hired Cameron officially back in February, I think. I have, truthfully speaking, 0 complaints with where I'm at right now. Cameron took over. I did my show last year in August.
Was it Excalibur that you did?
Yeah.
That's when I met you. That's when I messaged you that first time. It was Excalibur.
Yeah. Didn't have a great prep there. I'm not going to badmouth anybody about that one. Came out of the prep, had some health issues, dealing with edema and stuff like that, just because my prep was so messed up. Part of that was my job's fault. I owned a renovation business at the time, so I was working 14-hour days, building fences outside in Savannah in the middle of June and July.
Jesus.
Yeah. So doing that while doing prep was not a great idea, but I did it anyway. So I survived barely, but we're here. And then I was working with another coach previous to that. Was not seeing the progress that I wanted to see. I think I stepped on stage like 168 pounds. By February, I was 190, but I wasn't happy with my composition. I wasn't happy with the way I looked. I felt like I should have been getting stronger, getting bigger. Talked to Cameron, and this is one thing that I look up to Cameron in a lot of aspects, and I don't want to say model my training after his, but before I even hired Cameron, we spent like an hour and a half on the phone together, just talking, going through stuff, trying to figure out if it was going to be a good fit. Because honestly, I don't want to pay that money every month if it's not going to be a good fit.
Yep, for sure.
And he's not the type of dude that wants to just take your money if it's not going to be a good fit, because it's just going to stress both of us out. Spent a lot of time on the phone. I think by the time I started with him, I was like 191. Went through a health phase, got all my my labs back and everything, made my body healthy, dropped down to like 184, and I'm back up to about 204 right now, moving into another health phase. So total body weight change of 20 pounds since February. So 7 months.
Yeah. And I mean, like the overall change is very drastic. I like to check out your progress, and it's just like, holy shit, dude! Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, my backside hit puberty really fucking late, apparently.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's the joke I always make. It's just like, oh, cool, my back finally hit puberty. Thanks.
Yeah. So yeah, I know that. Yeah, he's really good with with the people that he prepped. He prepped a guy for, I don't know what show it was, Classic Physique guy. Insane looking. Like
what was it? Chicago Pro?
Yes, Chicago.
That was JT.
John, I don't know who it is, but it was just like so polished. Like that's the most like specific word that I can use, because everything just looked just perfect in that dude, And I think, was it his pro debut?
I don't think it was his pro debut, but he won that show, qualified for the Olympia, and then went and did another one and qualified for the Olympia again.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. I only saw that. Yeah, I don't follow the sport that close anymore. But when we're I'm friends with Cameron on Facebook, and whenever he posts, I was like, holy shit, who is this guy? I've never seen him before. Yeah.
I think it was Atlanta and then Chicago Pro back to back. And I don't follow the sport that closely. I only know that because it's another one of Cameron's clients. So I see it in my feed, and then we have like a group chat for some of the athletes, where like he'll give us updates on people who are competing while he's there. And it's really cool to be able to watch everything. And he kind of shares, I don't want to say some of the inside info.
Some of the pros that's going on, like how somebody's doing during the prep or whatever. It's always good to know, that there are older people going through the same shit that you're going, So it's
I've got the exact opposite of issue I've got the exact opposite issue of everybody right now. Seems like everybody else is in prep and trying to hit something by the end of the year, and I'm like, cool.
So you're 2023.
We just pushed food over 4,000 calories, so I'll see y'all next year.
Yeah, dude, I haven't actually. October, it's gonna be 4 years since I last competed. And I don't think I'm competing again. I mean, I can barely walk, so no happening soon.
Crawl, walk, run, right? You might get back there one day.
Yeah. I'm still trying to like drop down to like good weight for the surgery.
Yeah,
I've been trying to be, I don't think I've been 190 since, I don't know, 2018, 2019, I think. And that's where it will be comfortable to be at for the surgery.
I don't eat for 3 days. I bet you I dropped down to 190. Yeah,
that doesn't happen to me right now. Like I pounded drugs really hard at the beginning.
Yeah.
In my body, I'm not going to say hard because I have actually never done an insane cycle. It's just like my body responded very well to everything. I just gain weight really easily. So with that, we can go into like some of the questions that we got about PEDs. That's mostly what I got, and all the shit that we're not getting into. So, yeah, there are some questions that are going to be controversial, and I would like to touch on them. It's about like top coaches in the area. I have to pull it up and see exactly what it is. You wanna go through your questions, then I go through mine since I have a little bit more.
I was going to let you knock out a couple first because you got more than I did.
All right, let's do that. The first question, what it was, is like, what was your biggest cycle? And that was directly towards me, so I can get into that right now. It was actually probably like 2017, and I remember like it was yesterday because I was just like, you copy and pasted this thing and send it to me, and I saw it last week from somebody else. So I followed it, and the coach is actually a really good friend of mine. And yeah, so this cycle, everything. Please, guys, if once you listen to this, do not. I'm not recommending anything. I'm just telling you what I've done. And I don't think you should use steroids or PEDs
for entertainment purposes.
Yeah, entertainment purposes. So it was 1,000, like a gram of test per week. Yeah, it was EQ 600. I have never done tren over 300, which to me that's quite high still. So it was 300. This is about like 6 weeks out from the show. Yeah, it was test 1,000, EQ 600, tren ace 300, primo it was 600. Then I had clan and Winstrol. And Winstrol was like, it was 50 mix a day, pre-workout. And clan, the most, it was like 80 micrograms a day. That's the most I've ever done.
My biggest issue with cycles like that, I mean, aside from just being like outrageously unhealthy.
Yeah. Well, I still work with them. I had a sponsor. So I have not paid for a single vial of anything in like 7 years. So that was cool on my side.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
No, some of us can't afford 600 milligrams of Primo a week. Not if it's real Primo.
This was real.
Yeah. No, that shit gets expensive.
Yeah, it does. And actually, with that, there were, 4 units of growth a day.
I'd say that's probably just about as expensive as the Primo.
More. I think it's more expensive.
Probably.
Yeah, when you get in pens, it's a lot more expensive.
Oh, no. So you get the kits, you reconstitute it yourself, save the money.
Yeah.
Do the math, save the money. I don't think I've ever really done like a crazy cycle. I've definitely experimented with some things in the past that I probably shouldn't have, and I won't give any sort of timeline on it because it can potentially get me in future legal troubles. But for a while, this was before I started like training for bodybuilding specifically. I just wanted to look good naked, be strong, and eat whatever the hell I wanted. So I was.
Did you use DNP?
No.
Oh.
At that time, I had no idea what DNP was, other than hearing Boston Lloyd talk about it. But I had never done like my own research. But again, now that I'm much further into the industry, or a lot further in the industry than I was at this point in my life. Granted, I definitely started younger than I probably should have. Looking back on it now, it really isn't that crazy. I mean, some of the dosages were, but like as far as the drugs go, it was just test, tren, and clen with some Proviron. But it was like 500 test, 450 tren, and then I ended up working up to like 120 micrograms of Clen.
Oh God.
However, your boy could down like 17 McDoubles in a day and
be good.
Oh, dude, I was like stupid lean all the time. I was 176 to 178 pounds. Like, could have gone from that point and done like a 3-week prep and been the most like inside out peeled dude on stage. I was just very, very lean, but I was also 178 pounds. I was benching like 350, deadlifting 575, and squatting 450, and still running 2 miles in less than 13 minutes.
Running. That's where you got me.
I hate running, so I just turn my brain off and try to get it over as fast as possible. But the Tren and the Clen definitely helped with that.
Yeah, so. I respond very well. Like with Tren, I just get like I'm a very mellow person. Like I'm always chill. I don't get anxiety or like anger issues. Like none of that. Like I'm just like more relaxed if anything.
Yeah.
So all right. Next question. I have them here. Oh, I don't want that. Get off of the screen. No, I'm not asking this question.
I can only imagine what they are.
Yeah, I'm not asking this question. What's the most amount of cardio that you've done in a prep?
Honestly, I think it was only like 90 minutes.
I've done 3 hours.
Yeah. I mean, I've only been in prep one time, and that was last year. So again, I was doing the home renovations at the time. For the beginning of the prep, I was out the gate, damn near keto. I was getting very, very little carbs from the beginning.
Can I guess your diet?
Do what?
Can I guess your diet?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
You were doing 7 ounces of protein per day and veggies 6 times a day.
I mean, relatively, yeah. It was chicken and greens 5 times a day.
Chicken and greens, yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good guess.
I shrunk down fast, but it got to the point where I went from looking like a bodybuilder to looking like a starving Kenyan.
Yeah, I've been there. That's happened to me. But I did for that something like that. I did straight keto. You need that, all right? Hi, babe. Yeah, I did straight keto. Actually, I always pattern keto. Like I talk shit about keto. I love keto, but only when you know how to do keto and how to reverse out of a true ketogenic diet.
Everything has its time and place. Living an entire complete life eating keto, not it.
Yeah, I enjoy it. And I've done like cyclic keto. Like I'll do keto, cyclic keto. Like you just eating keto Monday through Friday and Saturday. You have your cheat meal. Then on Sunday you go back to keto.
Yeah,
I've done that past. It works awesome for me. Just because I'm fatter, just like genetically. So I don't get hungry, dude. Like I'm fine with it. Like I looked forward to that Saturday free meal, and then I'm cool going back to it. All right,
something to look forward to reward yourself with.
I'm getting more questions. I have my other phone next to me, and I'm getting more questions.
Are we both Kevin Gates?
I have 3. So I have the phone that I'm on right now. That's where I only talk to my clients and do like podcasts and meetings and stuff with. Then the one I have here is charging. That's just social media. I don't have social media on this phone. Just because I waste time. So this is my work phone and this is like social media. And the other one is I just have it for like, it's like a 13 Pro that I got for free. And I use it for like, I don't have a single app. And I just use it for recording if I don't want to use my other camera. So, yeah.
Similar to mine. This is all coaching and photography stuff. This is all personal stuff.
Yeah. So, top 3 coaches in South and North Carolina. It doesn't tell me like they don't. I don't actually know who this person is. So it doesn't say like specific for bodybuilding or bikini or any of that. I'm gonna say right off the bat, for nobody's touching on chain physique for men's physique, like nobody. So
No.
I'm gonna keep that there on the side. Like literally nobody is touching Mike and Tom. Like they're just on another level when it comes to men's physique right now.
Yeah, their role as of lately. They've been rolling very deep into shows.
Yeah, dude, they're just smashing it. Like it's good to see, like I'm gonna say like the local guys just like doing well. And they're awesome. I talk to Tom often, and he's like an awesome guy. Mike is super cool too, and like the whole crew. I mean, they're. I just like to see people that I know doing well. You know. So I'm not gonna. Let's just talk about like women's and bodybuilding, because men's physique it's like that's their thing. So nobody can touch them when it comes to that, like in South Carolina, North Carolina.
No, honestly, I don't personally know. At least I can't think of them off the top of my head. I don't personally know a ton of coaches in North and South Carolina.
Okay.
Most of my when I started really getting into bodybuilding, I never like went local. Like I didn't start with like a personal trainer here that referred me to.
Yeah.
I know there's one lady out here where I live, like 40 minutes west of Savannah, that coaches competitors. I just haven't seen enough from her to say that she's a great coach or not.
It's so small that I know who you're talking about. Like I know exactly who you're referring to. There's not enough of it.
No, I haven't seen enough product yet.
Yeah. Travis is a great bodybuilding coach, like open bodybuilding. Terminator Travis.
Okay. Yeah.
He's got, I mean, great competitors. Vince just actually plays. He went pro on like an open bodybuilding at Universe.
Come on, Vince Strauss?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he just plays
just
2 top 10. What do you say?
Vince just did Savannah.
Exactly. Yeah, and he plays top 10, and then he plays top 10 in Texas too. He also had Sean Harley that he said did 212. He went pro last year too, or 2019. I don't know, maybe a couple
ish.
Yeah, so he looked fantastic too. So he's a good bodybuilding coach.
See, the funny thing is you're going and you're saying all these names of people now, and I'm like, oh yeah, they are in the Carolinas, huh?
Yeah.
And I just completely forget where people live, because with as much traveling and everything that I do, remembering where people live really isn't the top of my priority. Like Cameron, if you were to ask me Georgia, Cameron lives in Atlanta. But if you say, hey, top 3 coaches in Georgia, I'd be like,
yeah. You know, beer?
I just wanted a soda, actually.
Yeah. Just talking to a buddy. Oh, we're just, letting people hear what we talk about.
Oh, that's Thank you.
So, yeah, like, for example, like Cameron, like, dude, that's so true, because I feel like he could be a South Carolina, North Carolina coach,
he's got quite a few people in Florida too, so
yeah.
He could be a Florida coach. But
yeah. So let's see. I mean, Trey Hodge is fantastic. He's actually coached me. He coached me almost 6 years ago. He's a good friend, fantastic, super knowledgeable. He will get anybody in insane shape. Kevin DeHaven, I don't think. I mean, he doesn't coach, many anymore. But Kevin is an OG. We'll get anyone in shape for sure.
Yeah, he just had 2 dudes to go pro at Universe and Masters.
Yeah, he's extremely knowledgeable, old school guy. Like him a lot and respect him. I know, man. I think there are so many coaches that I really can't even. Yeah, but off the top of my head, men's physique will be Unchained Physiques. Travis is the first one that comes when I say bodybuilding. And I mean, I mean, that's for women. I honestly I cannot think of somebody who is working directly with women, like in any category, um, to say that they're from the Carolinas and they do that, um, because most of the people that have won like the shows in the Carolinas are not from the Carolinas. Um,
No.
like I like the tournament of champions championship that Kevin has in Manning. Uh, like I've won the overall wellness and the overall bikini like 2 years in a row, and I'm not like I don't coach many competitors anymore.
Yeah.
So I can say that I will be like the women like coach, like like you don't coach, and like I don't know. I don't know of a women's like competitor in the area. Like I could say yeah they're good, or I could recommend.
I'm sure if I scrolled through who I follow on Instagram, I could find one, but we'd be sitting here for a
Yeah,
minute.
yeah.
I'm not going to waste all of that time.
Yeah. All right. Next question here. There are people. By the way, people asking these questions are anonymous. They don't want me to know who they are. So that's just like a random name, like that I'm looking at here.
Yours went up anonymous too?
What?
Yours went up anonymous?
Well, I don't see like it's like I have like 3473X. Like that's just they just somebody create an account to ask that question. Um,
Oh, I know exactly who asked all my questions,
oh, you did?
which makes it
Yeah.
even more comical.
Yeah. I have here recommended posing coach Kenny Wallace. Like that's
If you can get them.
yeah, if you can get him,
Kenny
getting his
stays
weight.
booked all the time.
Yeah, just get him, get list like just try to get a hold of him. He's the best coach there is. There is just no question to ask. Like he's the best. Dun dun dun. Oh my gosh, dude! I have some questions I can ask. Just because of like, let's see this. All right, I have like so many questions I won't even ask because it'll be a waste of time. Go through like one or two of yours.
I mean, so this one's going to go into the whole posing coach one, but this wasn't necessarily a question, but it just says subject 1, get a damn posing coach. And I want to talk about that for a minute because it bothers the shit out of me. So again, I coach, I compete, and I shoot the shows, right? Now this weekend I did the Johnny Stewart show, and there were some really good competitors up there. Specifically, we'll say for classic physique. I would say my 3 favorite competitors were also very good posers as well. They were very fluid, especially for like a regional stage. They were very fluid. They were very smooth. None of their posing was like, super wonky or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. If they would have brought that posing to the Olympia, they would have got laughed at. But for a regional pushing, national level stage, great posing. My issue is, and it's become an issue in the industry where it's almost becoming like a compete because you can thing, and people just aren't trying very hard.
Okay, yeah.
They're not trying very hard to diet properly and to get an actual show condition. And they're not putting any effort into posing either. But then you also have the flip side of that with like the TikTok generation, right? Where all these people are like making these tutorials on how to do these crazy, like godly poses. And it's like, you just threw a fucking turbo in a 1989 Honda Civic. Your body being the 1989 Honda
nothing wrong with a Honda.
And the turbo being your posing. You are posing a turd right now.
Yeah.
Like, sure, your posing is great, but why don't you spend the time and build a physique worth posing?
Yeah.
If you're spending more time doing your posing than you have, if you spend more time posing than you have in the gym in your first year, you're not doing it right. Not in my opinion. You need to build that physique, worth posing. Because what's going to happen is as you do build that physique, all of your poses are going to change. You're going to grow certain muscles at a faster rate than you are going to grow other ones. Your density is going to change. Your lines are going to change. You may lose lines. You may gain lines. Your legs are going to blow up, but your upper body is going to slow down. So why did you spend all that time posing a physique that you're not actually going to pose? You learned how to pose at 140 pounds, and now you're 180.
Yeah, that I agree with that 100%.
So you'll see some people up there, and I've seen it at a couple shows this year, these people, and it's typically the younger generation, like early 20s competitors. They get up there and they have these like very extravagant Terrence Ruffin, Rachel Daniels, Chris Bumstead style posing routines, and it doesn't look like they dieted.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah, it's not a dancing show, it's bodybuilding. Like, you can win a show without posing.
Yeah, you could duff your posing routine.
Funny. Like Rachel, one of my girls, she won in 2020, I think that's what it was. The bikini overall, one of Kevin's shows.
Okay.
It was true novice, and then she won the open. Trace will see her at the gym, and he will be like, "What the fuck?" Like, dude, it was so horrible when she was on a stage that I was just like, oh my God. But she won. Like, she had the best body on the stage. And sometimes at a regional show, what matters is what your body looks like, not your posing. But you need to know how to, like, you need a physique worth, like you say, you need a physique worth of being on the stage. Don't just step on because you pay for the entry. Like, anybody can just pay for the entry. Like, you're just paying for your own trophy. Like, build your physique up to a point that you can now hire a coach and say, hey, just teach me how to position my body in a way that I can show my strengths and hide my weaknesses. And I agree with your point 100%. Posing is extremely important, but goddamn, build the body first.
So I actually will turn off from that for a second, because I've had a couple conversations in the past where I personally feel like there should be a judge at check-ins that can turn you away from competing the next day if you look like you did not even try to be there. And again, I'm going to definitely catch some heat for this, but I will continue to hold my ground. Bodybuilding is an extreme luxury sport. We all purposely stuff our faces until we're sick to build muscle, and then purposely starve the shit out of ourselves to get as lean as possible to get on stage. Those of us that actually take the bodybuilding seriously. Now, I'm not knocking the people, like I said earlier. I'm not knocking anybody who has made any sort of crazy transformation. But the NPC stage is not the place for you to show that off.
Yeah, they can do the summer shredding stuff with like Athlete.
Photographer stepping in. When I have a group of 5 people on stage and it's really good conditioning, really good conditioning, really good conditioning, lard. You just ruined that photo for everybody else. I'm sorry. You devalued that photo.
Oh my gosh, he's gonna catch some heat right here.
I'm sorry, but I'm being truthfully honest. And the way I've always said it is, think about it as any other major sport. If you want to play in the MLB, you got to make it in AAA first, right? But in order to get into the AAA, like, you have to get scouted and picked up to be put in the AAA, which means you have to qualify.
Yeah.
IFBB, MLB, NPC, AAA. Qualify to get into AAA.
Yeah. I agree with that. I'm gonna make a short clip of this and it'll go viral.
Oh, great. I'm gonna catch so much heat. But again, back to me building my name and building my brand. I'm not building a name that is known for losing. I don't want to do that. That is not how I've been a loser my whole life.
Yeah,
That
that's
stops
all
now.
you. I agree with you 100%. All right, you got one more question in there before I go?
Which one you want here?
Whichever, whatever will hurt feelings.
All right, opinion on what Joey Swole is doing for the gym community.
Funny story. You want to know a funny story?
I'm always down for funny stories.
I was sponsored by Shreds.
Okay.
With Devin Physique, Paige Hathaway, Joy Swole, Alex Turner. Actually, probably a few days ago on Facebook, it gave me a throwback of 7 years ago when I signed my contract with them. Before, like, likes were a thing. Like 10,000 followers was a lot of like stuff, and you got paid for just being someone who just knew about the sport instead of you some kid with a mop in their head and a little like earring with a cross. That's who gets paid. Back then, Shreds was the biggest like scam there was, right? Just because it was everything.
Adobe Games. Devin Physique and his Adobe Games.
Yeah, so Adobe Games. Back then, what Joey Swole is doing now, I think, is amazing, but it's fixing what he did back then. Does that make sense? Like, everything that Shreds started, 7, 8 years ago, is what created the culture that we have now in the gym. Like, mind your own business. Well, you should have started the movement before you started the Shreds movement, when you were okay to shit on people. Like, oh, you're fat. Oh, let's make a meme. Let's post it. That was cool back then because it was some kind of motivation to get people into the gym. But to me, that's what created what we have now. Like, people are scared of stepping, a foot into the gym to get on the treadmill because they're out of shape, and people might take a picture and post it on TikTok. I respect what he's doing. I love it, actually. But he started it. Like, they started it. And
years and years ago.
Huh?
Years and years ago.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not like he's saving the world. It's like he's fixing what he messed up.
He's righting his wrongs. I mean, I've seen a couple of his videos. I don't follow him, not closely at least. If a video of his pops up, like, I don't just skip past it and go, "Oh, fuck that dude." But I've seen quite a few of them where, and I don't want to say he plays like both sides of the fields, but like, he definitely seems to take the right path now, where like I've seen videos of his where some girl was like trying to call out some dude in the background of her video. She's like, "Oh, why is this dude staring at me?" He's like, "Shut up. Nobody's even looking at you. Why are you making this video about somebody else way off in the background of your video?" But then I've also seen him get on there and like shit on people who are shitting on people for just trying. I'm never going to knock anybody for trying. Yeah. If it's your first time in the gym and you walk in and you come up to me and you're like, "Hey, I have zero clue what I'm doing. Can you at least point me in the right direction?" Sure. You're here to try to better yourself. And I respect that. However, there are certain individuals that will hold that card of, "Well, I'm just getting started. I'm here to better myself." But then within 2 weeks, they're turning around and like fit shaming everybody else.
Yeah.
And that don't fly either. Like, don't knock me because I've been eating chicken, rice, and asparagus for 3 years, and you've been eating pizza, donuts, Swiss rolls, and ho-hos for 6 years. Don't shame me because that you point one finger, you got 3 pointing back at yourself type thing, right? I'm gonna shame you for being fat.
Yeah. End of it, it's like I think he's doing the right thing. Whatever he did in the past, I mean, it's whatever. But I think, motivating people to get into the gym is amazing. I think, I support what he's doing.
Yeah. I mean, the gym should be a place where everybody feels comfortable. I would personally, and this is just based off of my area, I would like to see more gyms in my area that honestly I can go without intimidating somebody else.
Yeah.
because it's not, I'm not going to change and like slow down my progression just because me grabbing the 120-pound dumbbells might make somebody else feel a certain type of way. However, we don't really have any like hardcore bodybuilding gyms here. There's UFlex up in Charleston, which I go to 2 times a week.
You had one, but it closed down.
Don't get me started on that topic.
Why?
I'm banned from the other gym.
From boy, that doesn't exist anymore. I'm talking about Iron Bodies.
Yeah, Iron Bodies competitor. I'm banned from them.
I don't know who they are.
The Zoo.
That's a joke, right? Like I don't think that gym is like a gym. Like I think
He's dumped a lot of money and a lot of equipment into it as of late.
Is it a franchise?
It is a franchise.
Okay. So it's not a corporate gym. Like it's somebody owns that facility.
Yes.
Okay.
And that somebody banned me from their gym. So
that's stupid.
We can talk more about that later.
Yeah. Yeah, but actually in Savannah, you have Synergy in Bluffton, which is, I like that gym. I have my picture there. You have Lava, which is good, but still, when I was
drive,
it's just a drive for you. But UFlex is the best gym around. There's nothing compares to what Jeremy's done in that place.
Especially with the new one that he's putting up. Opening like later this month or next month.
Yeah. So people don't know this because I don't talk much about it. I went to an open gym, like an actual gym, for the first time in 3.5 years. Last 2 weeks ago.
So you normally work out in your house, didn't you?
Yeah, I have a full gym at home, and I did that because when I was not like right now I look like a regular human, but a couple of years ago, I was more like a little bit bigger, and I lifted heavy weights, and people get intimidated, just like you said. And that's just because of where I worked out. So I will either go to train at Trace because it was empty all the time, or I will go there at like midnight or really early. But yeah, ever since I've been training at my house, like I don't go to commercial gyms. And now that this new house that we're moving, I'm building a bigger gym, so I don't have to step out of that place ever. It's like I just need a grocery store in my house and I'm done. I don't need to go anywhere.
I don't get me wrong. I like being around people and I like having that like environment, as long as that environment fosters the positivity that we're all trying to bring. I made a friend over at UFlex the other day. His name is Joe. He's actually coached by Matt Jansen. Good dude. Seems like we'd get along really well. But like I said, in this area, we've got a couple 24/7s as like the franchises.
Yeah.
He's put a lot of money and effort into his gyms, and they're getting, they're good. The equipment's pretty good, but again, it's not a bodybuilding gym.
Yeah, for sure.
Everything in there is brand new, which is great. But sometimes I want to grab a bar and feel like I'm either going to get tetanus or tren.
Yeah.
And it's just, you go in there and there's no deadlift platforms. Typically I'll throw like one bumper plate on, so I have the ability to like roll the bar. But B, it also kind of quiets everything down. There's no bumper plates. There's no deadlift platform. There's just certain, things that I would like to see in a gym.
Deadlift heavyweight, so I wouldn't know.
I stick around 405 right now.
Even when I was like my strongest, I could not lift 405. That's the most I've ever deadlifted.
Oh, I put
I have the squat is 625.
Nope.
But I can deadlift 405. No, not happening. So yeah, I don't feel for you for not having a deadlift platform. I don't give a shit. Just don't deadlift. Just have a weak back. Yeah. So all right, let's do. We've been talking shit for an hour. Let's do 2 more questions.
Cool. You go first, then I'll go.
Okay. All right. This is good. I should have looked for the question, while you were doing this.
Could have.
Oh, this is good. Guess I'll throw you there. Best 3 photographers in the area for like bodybuilding. Um, I'm gonna name him. Well, he's not like local anymore, but Mitch Gelko. Um, he, I actually, he just got his birthday was yesterday. Um, I was one of the first people he ever shot. Yeah. We had a crew in Bluffton. You know Jay
Yeah.
Wesson.
Yeah.
So it was Jay Cole Kramer. You probably know he doesn't compete anymore. He's a pro.
I think Brent's told me this story because he was somehow involved with that, wasn't he?
Yeah, and Brent was in the area. Like he trained at Synergy, and Cole trained at Synergy. So it was Cole, Jay, Matt, and Christina, Hunter, Nick, and myself. We will go to Augusta where Mitch lived, and we will shoot there, and he will come down for the weekend, and we will get to the gym at 6 a.m, dude, and we will shoot until like noon, and then he'll drive back, and it will be $100.
He still lives in Augusta, doesn't he?
Yeah, he lives there. So, yeah, Mitch he is sorry, but he's daddy when it comes to like the area, because I mean he was kind of like the first one to like establish the photography with Will Whitman. So them two, and then will be Brent and you. Like you, Brent and you are like the top two in the area. I don't know if anybody else.
I mean, Brent's up in Ohio now.
Yeah, he's gone. So it's you. You're
Will,
daddy. Yeah.
I don't know if I liked that coming out of your mouth.
It's all right. It's all right. You're taken.
No, Mitch and Will are still my fathers.
Yeah.
I look up to Mitch and Will a lot. I'll see him. I don't know if Will's going to be at San Antonio this weekend. I know Mitch is. But no, Will does, strictly photography, right? And then Mitch does, for the most part, for shows, video, and then he does, some photos and stuff. But they're like the top of each. If you were going to hire one person for video, it's Mitch. If you're going to hire one person for photo, it's Will.
Yeah.
I'm trying to split the middle and be just behind him and be able to offer photo and video at like almost. I mean, if I could somehow manage to grow 2 extra arms and 4 extra legs and split myself down the center and work all the different angles at the same time with like 6 different cameras, I would. But it's just not feasible. Like, it's not physically possible. But if I can take both of them and combine them and then just pull it back a little bit, like, that's where I'd like to be. I've had comparisons to them before in the past, which is wild because I've only been doing this for a year. The coaching and photography, like, officially both started up around the same time.
Okay.
So I think the first show I shot was Upstate Classic last year. I shot it as Brent's assistant.
Okay.
I think I walked away with like 14% of the profit, but did like 85% work.
Yeah.
He and I have talked about it before. He's like, "Oh yeah, I really did make you do all the shit, huh?" Like, Brent sat center stage and I did all the candid stuff. Then he's like, "All right, intern, here's your task. Edit all of the photos and put them in everybody's folders. Here you go." And I'm like, "Oh, fuck, okay. You put a lot of trust in me there, bud. Hopefully I don't fuck this up too bad."
So yeah, I mean, you're the main guy right now in South Carolina, North Carolina. And I mean, you're doing a lot of travel too, but I don't think there is somebody else who will be covering the shows like you are. And I mean, Brent, when he was right here, he was doing most of the shows.
Yeah. He got stuff to worry about now. Needs health insurance and stuff like that.
Yeah. So.
Got a big boy job.
Yeah. All right. That was a good question. All right, let's throw me the last one, then we'll end this shit. We've been on for 1 hour. And guys, whoever is watching, just help us out with a name. And actually, let us know who would you like to see on the show. Like, I want to see, like, who would you like to have on? I think that will be a good question.
Yeah, that's a question for them. I'm going to make the last question very it's It's not necessarily bodybuilding related, but health and fitness related, because people hire coaches for tons of different reasons. And it's how to pick a coach and what to look for when taking the next step on hiring someone. The first thing I would probably go over is the red flags of the coaches, and then like the gimmicks of the coaches, and to stay away from those. So like the red flags obviously are if you're seeing different people posted all the time. So you find a coach on Instagram, right? And you scroll back through their page and you're only seeing the same person posted like once or twice. And it just seems like there's a constant revolving door. Nobody is staying with that coach long term. That usually means that they're not good at what they're doing. They're good at selling the idea to whoever, but they can't keep them long term.
I agree.
So the revolving door of clients, what we talked about earlier, constantly posting, oh, I've got 2 spots open. I've got 2 spots open. Okay, cool. If you consistently have 2 spots open, either nobody wants to hire you or you're just using a sales tactic to try to get more people in the door. Let your client's results speak for itself and use that as the advertisement. All of my athletes are my walking billboards. So when Austin looks really good on stage for Men's Physique, people are like, cool, he can prep a Men's Physique dude. When, Emily looks good on stage for bikini, they're like, cool, he can also coach. And Emily's completely natural. I don't know if you saw her on my story like yesterday.
Yeah, I did.
Completely natural athlete.
Yeah.
Granted, she's
He has fantastic shape.
Very genetically gifted, but you can be as gifted as you want. If you don't have the right guidance, it's not going to take you anywhere.
Facts.
So I think those would probably be the 2 biggest red flags when it comes to like looking at a coach before even messaging them.
I'm going to add one thing to this. The biggest, I'm not going to say, it's kind of like a pet peeve. A coach who is fucking consistent. What I see the most is like, all right, today I'm a fitness coach. Tomorrow I'm a real estate agent. Now I'm a health. I'm selling life insurance. Now I'm a game to be a coach. It's like no. You're either a coach and a photographer, or a photographer and a coach. But like you don't just start coaching people when you need money. Like you're playing with someone's fucking health every day. That's a rant that I just threw out there. Look at who is consistent with. It's like, well, I'm back to coaching. It's like, why do you live in the first time? Well, I lost my love for it. It's like, oh, you getting it back because you know you can make money, bitch.
So that's the difference, though. Is there's people. I have athletes of mine right now that still aren't paying me, whether they've hit a financial hardship or depending on who it was. I know we talked about it earlier. I'm not going to throw any names out there because nobody knows who this person is and when they're competing technically. And we're just kind of leaving that out there for now. But if somebody gives me an opportunity to work with like the next level caliber athlete, I've gone from OCB to NPC to IFBB in the first year. So the fact that somebody else that has been in the IFBB for quite some time now has come to me with their trust and saying, hey, I want you to take things over from here, and I can 200% their progress, i.e. taking them from 8 pounds lost in 8 weeks to 16 pounds lost in 7 weeks. I will give you a certain amount of time to prove my worth to you as a coach, because I have to prove that I can work with that next level athlete. It's kind of like doing an internship. Prove that you can do the job, and then we'll give you the job. Right?
Yep, I agree.
There's certain athletes that I have that don't pay me.
I do too.
Between the coaching and the photography, I do okay. We obviously hit a slow season, and I might pick up something on the side or push more for like lifestyle engagement photography type stuff, like, weddings, engagements, family portraits, stuff like that. But it's still within the same realm.
Yeah.
If you're constantly hopping around, like you said, from cool, now I bag groceries, now I'm a diesel mechanic, now I do this, like, dude, just pick something and stick with it.
Hey, like, dude, like, I made a post today. I've been coaching, like, in September. It's been 11 years that I've been coaching, right? Like, I have never stopped coaching. But in the first 4 years of my coaching, I needed another job.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, shit, how do I pay my bills? Now, for the past, so what's 11 minus 4? 8? 7? For the past 7 years, my only source of income has been coaching. Like, that's what I do full time. Like, this is my life, you know? And at times it's hard, but that's what makes me a very consistent coach that people come to every day because they know that this is what I do. I don't start selling life insurance and then health insurance and then I stop coaching. And then when that shit doesn't work, I get back to going. Just like people doing keto. It's like, well, I'm going to do keto. I'm going to do Weight Watchers. And I'm going to do this bullshit. This doesn't work. Let me go back to the first fat diet.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good analogy that I threw right there.
Yeah. So those being the biggest red flags. If somebody is exhibiting those things, I would probably stay away from them. Second thing, when you're looking at a coach, look at their track record. Sure, somebody may have 150 clients, and if you're a competitor, they may have 150 competitive clients. But go to their page, find out who their clients are, find out who their athletes are, look at how they're doing in shows. Of course, you're going to have a couple outliers that will always do well based off of their genetics and their shape. You'll have a couple outliers that always do poorly based off of genetic shape and, lack of effort. But take a general consensus. Hey, this dude, I don't ever see anybody in any first call outs. He doesn't have anybody at a national level. He's never put anybody on a national level stage. That's where I'm trying to go. I don't want to stay, regional show hopper. I'm going to do this one in April. I'm going to do this one in May. I'm going to do this one in June. I'm going to stay in prep all year and just do 7 shows, all at level. Look at the coach's track record. Take Cameron, for example. Cameron is 23, 24. Been coaching for a couple years now. But in that couple year time frame, he went from like nobody, winning regional shows, winning national shows, winning pro shows, getting Olympia qualifications. His track record has continued to increase and gain value over time. If somebody's not gaining value over time, that means they're not putting in any effort to continue to better themselves to better serve you. Would you rather be taught by somebody with a 2-year degree or an 8-year degree?
Yeah, I agree for sure.
So,
and one thing, guys, message their clients. Just like message them and say, hey, dude, how's it going working with this guy? How's it, is David making you do keto? Shit like that. How many hours of cardio are you doing? Just like ask simple questions. A coach shouldn't be scared of like people asking their clients for, a recommendation. I empower people to, before hiring me, talking to the people who don't work with me anymore.
Yeah.
That's something that I do. It's like, just make sure you like me before you work with me, because you might not like me once we start working together.
And when you're messaging these people, don't ask them the very specific details about their program.
Yeah, their diet
is not going to apply to you. If I message some bikini girl that works with whoever and ask her for her opinion on that coach, she'll give me an opinion. But if I'm like, hey, what's your diet and training like? She'll be like, cool. Well, I hit upper body once a week, legs 3 times a week, and I eat 1,300 calories. I'll be like, oh, well, that's not going to work for me. Maybe I'll go somewhere else. Like, clearly it's not going to work.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I didn't think of that.
I've had people message me and ask like, oh, well, what are you running? I'm not going to discuss my exact protocols with somebody. Because I feel like it's a liability. If I tell them and I regurgitate that information and they go do the exact same thing and something bad happens, then it's on me because they took what I was doing and did it themselves. You can tell people not to do that shit all day. That's like the big issue that I have with the whole TikTok bodybuilding community lately. Yeah. everybody making these jokes about taking a gram of Tren every week, or like, oh, they got the Giga Chad jaw filter, and they're like, oh, my girlfriend put a gram of Tren in my ass cheek right before the gym, and I feel great. I'm like, cool. If you're doing a gram of Tren a week, you should probably be more ashamed about doing that. Not people, because you still look like shit.
Yeah.
If you're doing a gram of Tren and you look like that, you're doing something completely wrong.
I agree.
Yeah. Somebody's going to get on there and see that they're taking a gram of Tren a week, and because they're in better shape than them, they're going to be like, cool, where can I get Tren? I need to do a gram a week.
Yeah. So that's sad. But all right, dude, we've been talking shit for too long already. It's an hour and 15 minutes. I'm going to end it. Don't hang up. Guys, thank you for tuning in. And I appreciate you all. I'll see you either sometime this week or next week. Peace out.